Okay, so applied web design, we did a 2-column layout. Let's do a 3-column, and we'll start with the 2-column layout that we have. So the first thing you want to do is let's just keep the 2-column because it already has a link to main.css. It already has a section tag with a class of wrapper that's going to allow us to play around with background graphics and other items for layout. So the first thing you want to do is just do a file save as, and then save it as 3-column layout. Let's change the 2 to a 3 and click save, and you're almost there. The only thing here now is we're going to leave all these tags that were in this content article, and we're going to leave all the tags on the side. We just need to add one more div and make sure they all add up to 8. They'll all go into section. So one of the things you can do, you can try this out here, is we could try putting a nav bar on the left. So we give it a nav tag, and we give it a class equals, and then we can call it main nav, and then we'll put a space, and we'll do a span 3. We'll close it. And then if we have a span 3 here, we should change the last one to span 3. So that's 6. So this should be a span of 6. So a span of 3, span of 6, span of 3, they all add up to 12. And that should give us what we need. And what we're going to do is put our navigation bar right in here. So you may want to start with the header 1 for now. Well, we won't. We'll just go ahead and do an unordered list. And create a list of links, which we should have put in our other 2-column. But for now, we'll just start here, and we'll go from there. Remember the href, you go to the pound sign so that it's just a dummy tag, and we'll put on here link 1. And there's our first list. And we're just going to copy that and paste it 2 more times. So we'll have a link 1, 1 for 2, 1 for 3. There's our unordered list of links. Save your changes. And then just to label it, let's just label it anyway. And we'll put a header 1 nav bar. Now, you probably won't do this, but I'm going to label it because it's going to be easier to see if this is working right or not. So it's 3-column. All we did is, let me just collapse these. Okay, see, here's the trick. We have a row fluid on our section, and we have 3 main block level tags. One that has a span of 3, one that's a span of 6, one that's a span of 3. In our nav, we have our header 1. And then we have an unordered list of links going basically nowhere for now because it's just a template. It's like a wireframe. In our article, we have a header 1 and several paragraphs. And then in our aside, we have a header 1 and 2 paragraphs. In the end, this is what it looks like. I'm going to pause on here for a moment. All right, let's go ahead and launch this and see if our 3-column is working okay. So I'll launch the 3-column. We'll do it in Chrome. I'd do it in Firefox, but it seems to take forever for the browser to load. I'd rather just have Chrome. It fires up pretty quickly. And now I have my 3 columns, nav bar on the left, content, and then sidebar section. If I highlight them, you can see the gutters in between each of those sections. You'll also see, of course, that our 3 columns that are here. Okay, at this point, we've got our 3-column. Let's do a mixed layout, and we'll take the 2-column and we'll add to it. So go back to, I want you to open up your 2-column layout. Before you open 2-column, why don't you get this nav tag in here. I'd like you to copy this in the content and put your navigation bar into the 2-column. Okay, so just copy the nav. We forgot to do that in our 2-column. So now we're going to open up the 2-column. And in your header, go ahead and put it in the header. Like so. I'm going to get rid of my header 1 that says nav bar. I don't need that. I only did that for my 3-column because I wanted each of my columns to start with the header 1. They look more even that way. And so I'm putting the nav bar into the 2-column, and I'm going to save my changes. And then what we can do is we can now open up we're going to save this as mixed. So we have our 2-column, our 3-column. We'll just call it mixed column layout. and save our changes. So I'm going to look for 3 of these. When you're done, I think your nav bar should link, each page should link to the other, or link to all 3 when you're done. Okay, so this is our mixed column layout. It starts as a 2 column, but it's called mixed, so there you go. All right, so what we're going to do is I'd like you on your mixed column layout, what we're going to do is underneath our 2 columns, we are going to create another section that has more than 2. So call it a section if you want. This could be the footer to a page as well. I'm just going to call this a section, and I'm going to give it a class of row fluid. You may want to give it another class so you can style other parts of it. So this might be extra. And so this will just be an extra div that has a bunch of evenly spaced columns inside of it. So should we do 3 or 4? Since we haven't done 4, well, let's do 4. So we have a section that has a class of row fluid. So nothing's in it yet. Let's go ahead and create all of our little divs that go inside. So it's a class div, class equals, and this is going to be a span 3. And you should go ahead and put a little header in there. This time we'll do a header 2 just to mix it up. And we'll put 1 of 4. So all I want to do is copy that, and we're going to use this as our model. So we need all of our spans to add up to 12. Since we're going to do 4 evenly spaced, they'll all be span of 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Easy, right? Okay. Just going to paste the next one in. Excuse me. Wrong one. This is what I meant to copy. And this will be 2 of 4. Be 3 of 4. And then finally we'll do 4 of 4. Notice every div has a span of 3. They're all inside of row fluid. There are no extra tags to break these up. And that's key. Anything can go inside of the divs that you want. Maybe little images, bulleted lists, whatever you want to do inside of these is up to you. Just make sure that these divs have nothing in between one and the other from top to bottom. Save your changes, and let's view it and see if that works. This time we'll go to Chrome. And there we have it. Now we have our hello world. We've got our content section. Wow, this is all kind of messed up. What did I do wrong? Let's see. I have an error. Oh, I just closed the window. Hold on. Okay, something's screwed up here, and I'm not entirely sure what it is. What I will, oh, I know what it is. Span 3 right here. I messed it up. I'm going to get rid of that. I do recommend we try something here. Watch this. Our header, let's give this a class of row fluid. This is entirely optional. On a mixed layout, everything is optional as long as you're using the grid system and things line up right and they look appropriate. Our header 1 will give it a class of span, and this time we'll do a span 4. And then our nav will have a class of span 8. Okay, so we'll add that to our nav, and now at this point, this should work. Let's see if this does. But you saw how it was all messed up before. Let's go back to the page. See that hello world, the nav. The nav had a span of 3, which hurt this content section, which then hurt this sidebar, so all that got messed up. We hit refresh, and now there's our header, there's our nav bar, and then of course we're going to turn that nav bar into a horizontal nav bar, and then everything should look good when we're done with that. But for now, this looks good for us. And let's just add a little bit of extra style. I'll let you guys do that, but let me just show you how we can add some slight styles just so you can modify it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some borders around our content. Actually, I'm going to put borders around the content, the sidebar. Oops, I need the dot in front of it. And then I'm going to also do this around our left column and the 3 column. I'm Remember we had this class, we had a class of main nav. So you can add that if you want. For now, I'm just going to leave it for content and sidebar. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a border around all this so we can illustrate. 1px solid, and I'll just do gray for now. And then I'll do a border radius to round the corners out. Give it a 10 pixel border radius. And then we'll do a padding of 10 pixels too. Move that over a little bit. So now when we save our changes and we view the mixed column layout, we can now see our borders around the main and the sidebar, and you can see the gutter real easily. And we can also do it around all of our other divs that are on here. I will let you figure out how you want to style those. If it were me, I would add an extra class to these divs here and then target that new class with it. The last thing I want to do is go over guidelines. Number one, you can't break up the grid system by introducing a tag in between. Number two, anything with the span, they must add up to 12 in all. However, we can get rid of one of these, and we can offset it if we want. So I could get rid of this last one, and I could give this an offset of 3. And the key here is these numbers all need to add up to 12. So the spans and the offsets all put together, if they add up to 12, you're good. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4. Well, it should be of 3, honestly. But we're doing a span 3, and we're doing form. That's just with an offset. I'm not saying you need to do that. In fact, it actually looks worse, in my opinion, doing it that way. But at least you know you can do it if you need to. Okay? So I think that's it as far as guidelines go. Oh, the last guideline, guys, if you want to style something like extra, give it a new class and style the new class you added. Don't try to change span 4, span 3. Leave those alone. So if you want your content to have a border around it, add content to your class, style it on your style sheet here. I think that's it.